Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers Season 3, Episode 21 of my show, but this is about Episode 20 of Season 3. Now, Episode 20 in Season 3 is Part 2 in the 3-part episode, Changing of the Zords. Now, if you guys remember, but before I start talking about it, two things. Since we're on the second part of this 3-part episode, that just means we got one more left to go. And then after that, there's the one single episode for that Follow That Cab. And then there's the next 3-part episode. I just wanted to get that out of the way there before I continued. Anyway, this is History of Power Rangers Season 3, Episode 21 of my show, but this is about episode 20 of season 3. And episode 20 is part 2 in the Changing of the Zords 3-part episode. Now, if you guys remember back in the previous video, I mentioned that Rita and Zed had managed to steal Kimberly's power coin, as well as steal the Falcon Zord with the use of that power coin. I just wanted to bring that up since I brought it up, and also because this second part carries over from where the first part left off, and Ninjor was also captured. Basically what happens is at the start of this second part, Zed, the Rangers are wondering how they can get Kimberly's power coin back from Zed in order to get Kimberly's power back to normal, and then they're saying, Zordon says that the only answer is for them to retrieve the coin, therefore restoring her powers basically, and then they're wondering how they can do that. And without Ninjor, and then basically Zordon the Ranger, like I said in my previous part, Zordon told them about the fact that Zed had tried to reawaken the ancient Zords, which are the Shogun Zords in this 3-part episode. And basically, I just wanted to bring that up since I mentioned that. Anyway, well, this is the part where it actually gets mentioned, so I just wanted to bring it up. And then Adam's wondering how they can defeat the ancient Zords without their Zords, and then basically, then it goes into the scene where Zed and Rita are in the palace, and Zed is holding Ninjor inside this bottle, and then he's like, "You feeling comfy in there, Ninjor?" And then Ninjor says that he's not, and he'd like to come out so he could wow with them, and he said no, and then he's like, "You better behave, you are gonna cooperate and help me power the Zord necessary to help have the Rangers conquer the Earth." And then Ninjor says that he won't do that, and then basically Zed gets a little upset by that, and he's like, "You better do what I say." And this is the part of it that makes it sound like a joke, because what he says next is, "Or I'll turn you into a cosmic milkshake. Did you hear me? A cosmic milkshake." And he starts shaking the container that Ninjor is trapped inside, which is basically a blue jar with a lid attached to it. Now, that blue jar, I'm just gonna mention something. That blue jar is kind of shaped like sort of like a cookie jar kind of thing. And Ninjor is gonna remain trapped in that jar, for basically the remainder of this 3-part episode, up until part 1 of the Master Vial and the Metallic Armor 3-part episode. well, actually, up until the next 3-part episode. Now I'm not gonna explain what the 3-part episode name is. I sort of did, but I didn't mean to. He's gonna technically stay trapped in that canister until episode 29. I just wanted, and the reason why and the reason how he escapes is actually kind of funny because it's connected to Rito, but I'll save that for the first part of the 3-part episode when I get to it. I just wanted to bring it up though, since I felt it was kind of funny. Anyway, then basically Zed is telling Finster to he's like, siphon up his energy, Finster, so we can use it to power the Zords. And then basically what happens is Finster says that he'll get to it right away, and then basically he starts using it, and then basically what happens is the Rangers are wondering how they can get Kimberly's power coin back, and then that's when Rita and Zed send down a monster to the Earth in order that the same sort of eye monster that's when they send down this weird little eye-based monster, which basically, I guess you could kind of think of this character as sort of like a different version of the Eye Guy monster from season 1. I just thought I'd bring it up. Now, the reason why I say that is because this monster that they bring to Earth this time is basically sort of like a monster in a weird gray coat, and that coat is basically his power, which basically, when he opens it, it sends out these waves that sort of affects, I don't know how, but it affects their mind somehow. I just thought I'd bring that up. And then basically what happens is, after that, what happens is the Rangers then, and then the alarm goes, then Zed and Rita send the monster down to Earth, and then the alarm in the command center goes off, so, Tommy and the other Rangers, aside from Kimberly, the rest of the Rangers, aside from Kimberly at this point, go to fight the monster. The reason why she stays behind is because her power coin is in enemy hands, so she's basically inoperable. She's weakened because of the loss of her coin and stuff, so it's, tactically speaking, it kind of makes sense for them to have her split up. But that actually is also going to play a small part in how she's going to get captured in the end of this part of the 3-part episode, and lead into what happens near the end of it, and the beginning segment of the 3rd part. I just wanted to bring that up though, since I mentioned it. And then basically what happens is, the Rangers are fighting the Eye Monster basically, and then while they're fighting it, while they're fighting the monster, that's when Rita and Zed use Catherine again to capture the Pink Ranger by using Catherine as bait in order to have the Tangas attack her, making her think she's in trouble. And then when Kimberly sees that part, when the alarm goes off in the command center, she sees her there. She tells Zordon that she has to go and help her, but Zordon is explaining to her that she can't because she's weakened because of the loss of her power coin. And then Kimberly says that she has to because Catherine's her friend, So she's got to try, and then basically, um, what happens is, Zordon tells Kimberly that she's a true Power Ranger, and then she says to let the power protect her, and then basically she morphs to her Ranger form in order to rescue Catherine, but when she goes to fight the Tengas in order to protect her, they manage to capture her, because that was part of their plan, to get her captured, and then Zed and Rita are basically ecstatic that they captured the Pink Ranger, and then the monster basically retreats after, because by this point the Rangers are still fighting the monster, but by this point the monster retreats, but it'll be back in the next part of this 3-part episode. And then basically, with the Pink Ranger captured, Rita's wondering what Zed's plan is next. Oh, actually, I think I should, I can't really remember, but I think that, well, basically he tells them that for the next part of his plan, all they need to do is think pink. And then he raps about that, and it's like, think pink, and they raise them up, which is kind of funny because of the fact that, now the reason why I say that is because he's using a machine that is siphoning off, Kimberly's Pink Ranger energy and stuff, so it's sort of similar to what happened with the Green Candle and those in the 2-part episode in season 1, and in the other candles in season 3 when Jaden had to deal with the golden pipe organ, the pipe monster that was created from that golden pipe trophy for the karate tournament. And then basically, Zed says that as he's siphoning off the power, the Pink Ranger's energy, and she'll be useless to them. And then basically that's when Catherine shows up, and then she's saying that poor Kimberly, Tommy will miss you, but I'm sure he'll get over it. I wish it didn't have to be this way. Now this is the part where I think the spell is technically starting to not really wear off, but weaken a bit, because she says that she really does. And then basically, what happens is the other Rangers then are in the command center, and they're wondering what happened to Kimberly. And then basically, but actually what happens is, first they're wondering, after Zed has captured them, and then basically, after Zed has captured Kimberly and stuff, and Goldark wonders how he's gonna get, who he's gonna use to pilot the Zords, because the Zords are basically machines, so they need people to pilot them. And that's when Rito comes up with the second idea, and he's like, there's 5 of the Zords, so why not use 5 Power Rangers? And then that's when Zed hears that, he's like, Rito, that's it, Rito, being around here has made you not so useless after all. And then he says Zed's name is Ed again, and then he's like, it's Zed, you idiot, Z-E-D-D, my name is Lord Zed. And then basically, after that, what happens is, by this point, the Rangers are wondering how they can get Kimberly back, and that's when Zed contacts them in the command center, and he tells them that he has... Hello, Power Rangers. Because he contacts them because he's got a proposition for them, because he wants them to sort of work for him. Basically, he tells them that he's has their Pink Ranger, as well as and is draining the power out of her as he speaks, and that basically so she'll be useless to anyone. And then basically Zordon is wondering what Zed wants, and then Zed asks them to teleport him to the command center so he can talk to them about having the Rangers pilot his Zords. But then Alpha says that he doesn't want them to, but then basically Zed explains that if they do nothing, Kimberly's Ink Ranger powers will be gone for good, and then they're wondering what they should do, and that's sort of because by this point they're wondering what they should do for getting him into the command center, if they should let him in or not, and that's sort of where this part of the 3-part episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow or the next day for the next video. So until then, guys, just please give this video the real best you guys can, and I will see you guys next time. And like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.